Yo, what's good? Welcome into the show. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. Thank you so much for hopping on board and watching the show. So many talented content creators out there. So many great content options out there as well. So anytime you decide to watch our content and our coverage, we certainly appreciate that. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, we have a new Gardner-Johnson update from ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter. In addition to Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni, you don't want to miss that. A programming reminder, we go live for every single Eagles game, and we'll be live again for another watch party. Eagles-Bucks, game of the week on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. But also, if you want Eagles coverage every single day year-round, we also give you that. So lock us in, hit that sub button. Let's get to 131,000 subscribers. So this news came as a big surprise to everybody on Tuesday, September 23rd. The Houston Texans released safety CJ Gardner-Johnson after just 3 games with the team. And when I saw that notification from this tweet from Adam Schefter, I turned to our Texans Today host, Jeremy Chuggs, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Jeremy, did you see this news?" And I said, CJ Gardner-Johnson has been released. He couldn't believe it, and immediately he put his head into his hands because this came as a shock. And also, the Texans are off to a bad start this year at 0-3. And it seems as though, in his words, God is against the city of Houston right now. And so the Eagles obviously traded CD Deuce to Houston for offensive guard Kenyon Green this offseason. Philadelphia and Houston also swapping late round picks. And on top of why this is a surprise because he only played 3 games with the team, it looked as though the Texans had legitimate plans for Chauncey, right? Because Houston recently converted $6.58 million of his salary into a signing bonus. When a team does that, it usually signifies they have legitimate plans for the player. But here was my reaction to this. Something had to have happened behind the scenes, because you don't make a trade for a player like this who started the first 3 games for you, and you make changes to his contract, guaranteeing him that money. And CJ Gardner-Johnson pretty much got nearly $7 million in guaranteed cash to play 3 games for the team. And so there have been a lot of internet rumors, and there's been a lot of speculation for what happened. And this is a good summary of what transpired between Chauncey and Houston. And obviously, he's been on a bunch of teams to start his career, and this is the MO on him, that sometimes he's difficult to deal with on the field and off the field. So here are the theories. He wasn't picking up the defense. I went back and watched some tape. That is true. He had a bad blown assignment late in the game against Jacksonville, and it led to a huge play for the Jaguars, which set up the game-winning score. And that was happening a lot. He also wasn't taking accountability for the mistakes that he was making behind the scenes. There was said to be friction behind the scenes. And then Aaron Wilson, who covers the Texans and is an NFL insider, reported that CJ didn't like his role, and it got so bad that he got close to or maybe even requested a trade. Doesn't this sound familiar? The Eagles got rid of him one time, brought him back, and got rid of him again. That's pretty telling. And the Eagles, under Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, have been willing to take chances on players, right? And they realized that going into 2024, they needed his swagger, his heart, his emotion, and his overall play back on the defense. It worked out. The 2 times he's been with this Eagles team, they've made it to the Super Bowl. But at some point, you kind of are who you are, right? This is the 5th time in his 7-year career that a team has decided to move on. And this offseason, the Eagles even thought about cutting him after he was great for Philadelphia last year. Instead, they traded him for a guard who can't play. Kenyon Green, not even on the roster. And so when you think about bringing him back, the NFL rules of the Eagles not being able to, it's not true. The Eagles can. There are some pluses and minuses, right? The 2 years that he's been with the Eagles, he's been a leader on a team defensively that's played well and made it to the Super Bowl. He has versatility to his game. He could play slot nickel corner. He can play safety. He also has fantastic playmaking ability. He played 28 games with the Eagles. He made a bunch of big plays in those 28 regular season games, 12 picks. That's a crazy ratio there. And I love how he plays with a lot of emotion and swagger. The downside with CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's been hurt a lot. The Eagles did not love him internally. He had some issues with the entire organization, and sometimes he would talk about that on social media. A coach and a GM don't want to wake up in the middle of the night or the next morning and have to see tweets going viral. And with CD, you never know when he's going to say something or do something. In bringing him back, the Eagles do run the risk of him impacting the Eagles culture. The Eagles really value their culture. There has been a reason that teams move on. And then Nick Sirianni alluded to this today, and we'll get to his comments here soon. This would stunt the growth of Andrew Mukuba, who has been playing a lot, playing well. He's become the starter for this Eagles defense, and he does a lot of the same things that Gardner-Johnson does without all of the baggage. But it's enticing and it's intriguing because Gardner-Johnson's still a really good player, and he had been playing a solid ball to start the year for Houston. Frankly, I'm surprised they moved on so quickly. Overall PFF grade of 63.4, a run defense grade of 71.2, a pass rush grade of 59.8, and a coverage grade of 58.9. Obviously, he's had some lapses in coverage, and he's missed some tackles, but sometimes you live with that because you like the versatility and you like the ball hawking ability. Now, a lot of people had this question yesterday. Is this move even possible? Because according to the NFL rulebook, it stated this: a player who has been traded cannot return to the club that took sub-action until 2 seasons have elapsed, including the season of the year in which he left the club, unless one of the following exceptions applies. A traded player must have been on the active-inactive list of the assignee club or any club beyond the assignee club or a combination thereof for a minimum of 4 regular season games or postseason games. Obviously, with Gardner-Johnson, he played 3 games with Houston, after which the original assigner club may reacquire the player by waiver assignment or free agent signing. The 4-game requirement specified may herein span 2 regular seasons if applicable. Well, according to Adam Schefter and then Jeff McLean as well, that actually isn't a rule. And if the Eagles did want to bring him back, they actually can bring him back. And Jeff McLean even tweeted that out too, as I noted. The facts are the Eagles can re-sign CJ Gardner-Johnson this season. That's why Nick Sirianni was asked the question. And there are further rules. As I said on the Tuesday show, there's always a way to circumvent these things. There's always a way to beat the system. And there's probably language within the NFL rulebook that if a player gets let go, they can sign with any team. And so we'll get to that Schefter and Sirianni update just around the corner. But today's Philadelphia Eagles now fittingly sponsored by Tushy. We all love the Tush Push. You will all love the Tushy if you hop on board. And this is a great deal. Save big on Tushy today using the code CHAT at hellotushy.com/chat. And I know a lot of you are probably like, Chase, what is Tushy? It is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Tushy Wave instantly modernizes your daily routine and bathroom with a super sleek seat plus 2 separate front and rear nozzles for the most complete clean. It also features a soft close lid and seat that's slam-proof for a gentle, luxurious finish. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. This is daily decadence, Eagles fans, with practical benefits. Over half of the people who wash with Tushy soothe their hemorrhoids, and 9 out of 10 reduce itching and discomfort. Instead of wiping endlessly with scratchy, cheap, bad toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient, fresh water. This is the modern bidet. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. So remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat. And if you use the promo code CHAT. All right, to the back half of this segment here. Will we see a CJ Gardner-Johnson reunion with the Eagles here? He is one of my favorite Eagles players of all time, at least in recent memory, because of the emotion that he plays with and the versatility, the ball hawking ability, how many big plays he made. I really like having a guy like that on the defense because he will strike fear into the opponent. He doesn't have any fear himself. He plays physical, plays bigger than his size. And I like having that swagger on defense. That being said, I don't think it would be a good move for Philadelphia. Adam Schefter, Nick Sirianni, they pretty much echoed that as well. Here's what Schefter said this morning. I don't view it as a viable situation right now, him returning. Could there be an injury? Could something change? Sure. But today, as we sit here, Wednesday, September 24th, I just don't see it right now. He could go back, but he's not prohibited from going back, but they traded him in March. They moved off from him a second time in March. Now this other team, the Texans, that gave him over $6.5 million, they moved off of him 3 weeks later. He's a heck of a player, but there's been a lot of places that he's been, and he's bounced around, and now he has to find a new home again. Again, a lot of people show you who they are. A lot of people show you their true colors. And when he's been on 5 teams in 7 years, at what point are you just who you are, right? And the fact that the Eagles have gotten rid of him twice, that's pretty telling. And the Eagles, as I mentioned earlier, really value their culture. And I think bringing him back would turn some heads. And people would be like, really? We're going down this road again? As for what Nick Sirianni said, he pretty much shot it down without directly shooting it down. And I think Sirianni and Christian Parker, Vic Fangio, Howie Roseman, they like this Eagles safety room. And Sirianni said that. I'm really excited about the room that we have. I think they've done a nice job to date. We have a good young player in Andrew Mukuba who continues to get better. Having Reed Blankenship next to him is helping him get better. And Reed mentioned that, how he got better playing alongside Marcus Epps. So I'm really excited about that room. Sydney's doing a good job on special teams, doing some work on defense as well. So I'm very excited by this group, and I'm pleased with it. That's Sirianni pretty much saying no, ladies and gentlemen. And so I would be really surprised if the Eagles brought him back based upon their actions and now their words, and also how they went about addressing the safety spot in the draft with Andrew Mukuba, who's a CJ Gardner-Johnson clone. Ball skills, smaller, but runs well, plays bigger than his size, good run defender, and finds his hat and his way around the ball carrier at all times. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here for the best Eagles coverage right here on YouTube. It's Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. I appreciate all of you, and I love you.